Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the inaugural episode of Superintendents Unplugged, In Depth with Davis, the podcast where we'll dive deep into the world of educational leadership. I'm your host, Addison Davis, and I'm thrilled to have you join me as we embark on the inspiring journey together. As a superintendent once myself, I understand the challenges and complexities that come with leading a school district. But what I've come to realize is that there's abundance of amazing work being done by superintendents all across our country. This podcast is a platform to shine a spotlight on their incredible accomplishments and innovative approaches. Each episode will bring you exclusive interviews and superintendents from various districts across our country, both big and small, urban and rural, as they share their personal stories, triumphs, and even their moments of vulnerability. We will explore the strategies they employ to tackle the ever-evolving landscape of education, from fostering equity and inclusivity to embracing technology and preparing students for their future. But this podcast isn't just about showcasing success. It's about fostering a community of educational leaders who can learn from one another, share their experiences, and collectively navigate the complexities of our role. We'll discuss the tough topics as well, the difficult decisions, and the innovative solutions that are transforming education for the better. So while you're an educator, a parent, a student, or simply someone who's passionate about education, this podcast is for you. Superintendents Unplugged is your behind-the-scenes pass to the world of educational leadership, where we uncover the stories that inspire, motivate, and empower every one of us. Get ready to be inspired, challenged, and entertained as we embark on this incredible journey together. I can't wait to introduce you to the remarkable superintendents who are changing the educational landscape one district at a time. Welcome to another episode of Superintendents Unplugged, In Depth with Davis. I'm your host, Addison Davis, here with Tolleson Union District High School Superintendent. We have Jeremy Kayes. Thank you so very much for being with us today, Jeremy. The superintendency openly is a lonely spot, but it's such a rewarding spot in this practitioner. So July 2023, you got an opportunity to lead this great school district. I got to ask first question, how's it going?
It's going great.
Like it?
Yeah, I'm loving it.
All right. So going into this position, the community believes in you. Your role and responsibility, serve children, provide wraparound services, give children a sense of hope every single day. What I see in the newspapers, and when I look at, having conversations in your community, you're doing all those things. So in your first, 100 days, as you transition to where we are today, what have been some of your greatest successes?
First, I took our greatest problems head on. We've been fortunate the last 8 years that the community has supported us on all of our elections. We've been able to do some amazing things on the finance and operations side. We've doubled the average teacher salary. We've given.
I'll say that again. Doubled the what?
Doubled the average teacher salary.
So those who are watching, the way you create a longer, stronger bench of educators is you incentivize them. We have doubled the average salary. That's awesome. And board supports it, finding ways. We talk about openly, superintendents. We don't have enough money to do it. Follow a district's budget and you will see what their priorities are. So when we talk about creating a longer, stronger bench of educators, kudos to you for recognizing that you have to incentivize our educators to get them on board to be able to keep them in spaces in front of children, which is the four walls we call our classroom. So didn't mean to stop you. Awesome job. Those who are watching, you can do it. You just got to put the will and the action behind it.
Yes. Unfortunately, while everything's been great on the finance side, we've had 5 credit rating upgrades. We have the highest credit rating in the state. Everything's been great on that side of the house, but achievement hasn't moved.
Okay.
And so that's been the biggest issue. And when the board asked me to take over as superintendent, they said, we love everything that's happened on the operations side.
Sure.
Can you do that on the academic side? I've never been a teacher.
Yeah.
But by all means, I'll take any challenge. Let's do it. So one of the first things I did is I brought in West Ed to do a comprehensive curriculum review. So we had $1 million contract with West Ed to come in there and do a deep dive with all of our teachers and figure out what that LIFT curriculum looked like.
Sure.
We brought in hatching results. We brought in solution tree. So I went out and I brought in the partners that I felt could help us figure out what our core issues were and help us move those forward. And
Love it.
And they're addressing that for us now. So we're going to have a lot of things that we're going to be implementing for next year, along with one of my other ideas that I brought to the table. So I told my cabinet, I know I have all of you working 12-hour days right now. Roll up those sleeves. We're going to work hard for about 1.5 to 2 years until we get this thing fixed. But I have another initiative that I want to launch, and that's going to be our commitment day. That's going to be coming up in September. We're reaching out to all of our university partners, our business partners, the military. We're going to bring all of our students, all 4,500 seniors that we have onto the stage at State Farm Stadium, the same way we do for graduation. And we're going to ask them to commit to what their next step is after high school. And we're going to have all our partners there to help walk them through that commitment.
Awesome. And you know what? We have to be able to help children and students see that pathway and have stackable credentials and allow them to have a sense of hope every single day. And getting that recognition, getting their commitment to buy into whether it's a career technical educational pathway where it's stackable with accelerated learning, understanding the job market, understanding best practices. I think that says a lot about what you're trying to accomplish. Now, in that process, you talked about cabinet members, they're 12 hours a day. Listen, they probably work 15 to 16 because I know you work 16 to 17 hours a day because I've been there. In those spaces, you're talking about putting systems and processes in place. And, thank you for being willing to be able to be a champion of audits, because audits will be able to look at systems and processes, identify gaps. And from that, especially from the academic side, as a former CFO and your community for 6 years and then transitioned to the superintendent, you get it. You understand the return on investment, especially from an academic perspective, and your willingness to be able to champion the right, find the right gaps to be able to plug with solutions. Talks about how you accelerate student achievement. So when you look at achievement, what are some of the forecast plans that you're trying to drive to be able to create the best educational experience for your students?
Well, the first thing that we're getting to is just looking at the basics.
Sure.
Looking at how we are delivering learning in the first place. And so there's a couple of efforts that I'm trying to get off the ground right away. One of them has to do with lesson plans. Yeah. So when I was bringing WestEd in, first thing my cabinet started to say to me is, I'm like, yes, WestEd's going to come here. They're going to look at lesson plans. They're going to figure out what the lived curriculum looks like. And they're like, lesson plans?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, lesson plans. Yeah. Like, I don't know if our teachers have lesson plans. I'm like, I think you guys are overreacting, being a little dramatic with me. I went over there, I called the association over. I'm like, hey, come talk to me. I don't know. Cabinet's worried that you guys don't have lesson plans. My vice president of the association said, well, would you count a sticky note as a lesson plan?
I was about to say sticky notes,
what I have.
napkins. So it's in here, right?
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, that's not going to work for me. I never deliver a presentation without a PowerPoint.
Sure.
You guys delivering a lesson without a lesson plan is not going to work for me.
That's right.
But I don't want to just identify the problems. I want to identify the solutions. And so I brought in Microsoft, and Microsoft is installing Copilot for all of our employees. The only employees that don't get Copilot are going to be bus drivers, ground maintenance, and frontline food service employees. Everybody else is getting Copilot. And with Copilot, we're able to load on our tenant all of our essential standards, everything that's specific to our district, and they can instantly create a lesson plan in 5 seconds. And I'm like, now when you can create a lesson plan in 5 seconds, don't give me an excuse for why you don't have a lesson plan.
Listen, the power of AI, the power of leveraging technology for the speed to work smarter is awesome. And I commend you, because the foundational successes in a classroom have to come from proper engagement, proper planning, understanding objectives, essential learning, coherence of standards. All those elements have to take place to be able to be successful.
Yeah, so we're also, another initiative that we're working on right now, I have a program we're developing out for us is, for me, if you go to Amazon and you buy something, it'll always tell you, someone who bought this also bought this. But in education, I can't tell you. A student who was successful with this teacher
this in the 1962 RV today, right?
I can tell. But we don't have something that says a student who was successful with this teacher will also be successful with this teacher.
Sure.
So what we're doing is we have all of our students filling out these questionnaires that are telling us what their learning style is. We're going to start pairing them with teachers' teaching styles.
Awesome.
So that way teachers will be less frustrated when they have people who actually want to learn the way they want to teach.
Yeah.
And students will be less frustrated when a teacher actually teaches in a way that makes sense for them. So instead of being so heavily reliant on every teacher knowing how to differentiate instruction, let's just put natural pairs together. So consider it eHarmony for education.
Yeah, love it. I mean, selective targeting related to, matching up personalities, the way we learn, the way we teach is only going to allow you to expedite the learning process. And kudos for you for being able to put your time in and having the courage to do it. It takes courage to create those spaces. There's going to be some complexities with the master schedule, but we're smart enough to work it out. And I think that's going to be a really cool opportunity.
Well, and that's what the tool is going to do. It's going to create the master schedule.
Yeah.
Because the other piece is when a student is having trouble, first semester, we've had this approach of, the master schedule, it's already been etched in stone. You're stuck until next year. I don't want that.
Sure.
We need to be able to adjust dynamically on the fly. If I need to regenerate a master schedule, it shouldn't take more than 5 to 10 seconds. I need to just be able to put in the new variable and run a new master schedule.
Run it.
With our new tool, that's our aim, is that we will be able to redevelop master schedules that quickly instead of a million Post-it notes, using a system that was probably invented the same time.
Yeah, right.
This RV.
That's right.
Like I need to bring
RVASU, baby.
I need to bring everybody into current year and current technology. Let's talk about what's really possible.
Love it. It's one thing to have vision, and we can be dreamers, but it's about putting it in action and making certain that it comes to fruition in your school district. So some really cool things that are going on that you're leading, and it sounds like it's a bit of fresh air and coming in the district with you and your leadership team. And I think you're doing the right things. Push a system, and we know that when we push a system always pushes back. But when you're doing it for children to work smarter, to be able to accelerate the working conditions for adults, it's only going to allow you to reach that and attain that success. So you're closing on your first year. And, what are some lessons learned for those who are watching that are transitioning or aspiring to become a superintendent?
Time is a very critical resource. So coming in as a CFO, I can create money anytime. That's
sure.
I know where all the couch cushions are.
Yeah.
That's not the issue. Time is the issue. That my people only have so much time. I only have so much time, and there are so many pressing priorities. And being effective with the use of your time, to me, is the most critical. That's a resource we can't recreate.
It is definitely something that we maximize. As you're getting pulled every way, from local delegations to school board members to teachers to community members. All of them. They're all chambers. They're all so important. But protecting your time every day. And what I did is in multiple districts, and I'm sure you do as well, is that for me to listen, learn, and grow, figure out what's going on in our class, I have to be in classrooms. So tried to kind of maneuver my schedule from 7 to 11:30, try to protect that, to be in schools multiple times a week. Couldn't do it every day, just impossible. But that's the only way we're going to be able to look at our resources, to look at curriculum implementation, to look how students are engaging with others, their peers, with teachers, to really look at how we're doing from a cultural perspective. And I think all that really tells a story about how we can evolve as a school district. So, thank you for understanding the mechanism of time's our enemy. And so you've got to be able to protect your calendar, your schedule, and your efforts. Anything else that you've learned in that process as a new superintendent that you want to say, you got to watch out for, or you didn't know about, and your lessons learned through?
I just say keep the priority.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that can distract and pull you away in different directions. Just keep the priority. If everybody knows your true north is the students and student achievement, they'll learn to respect that. When your actions can stay in line with your words, people will learn to respect that. They'll get on board. They'll understand that even if you're driving massive change, that they'll still be more accepting of it if you just keep your true north.
Well, thank you for being here today. We really appreciate it. As you look in the future for innovation, any cool things you got on the horizon, or are you going to keep that to yourself today?
No, I got a lot. I don't think you got enough time on your podcast for all the ideas. One of the other ones that we're launching is we're using AI cameras going into next year. With our AI cameras, we're going to do crowd behavior monitoring, so we can know when a fight's about to break out or a fight is breaking out. We're putting some extra detectors inside the restrooms, because that's where a lot of problems happen. Those will trip the cameras and do pre-post records for us. We're going to watch the virtual perimeter. We have a lot of things that are going on to help increase the security through the use of AI cameras. But I would expect us to be early adopters in all of the AI technology.
Love it.
I'll tell you that right now with the vendors that I meet with, they keep telling me that what you're asking for, nobody has yet.
They do
so
have
I'm like,
that's right. Keep pushing.
Then go ahead and start building now.
That's right.
They're worried about processing power. I'm like, you can do this now. Processing power will be there. We all know processing power doubles in less than 12 months. I'm like, just work on the idea now. By the time you have the software designed, the processing power will be there. So pushing for a lot of ways to just be more effective about what we do, more intentional.
Absolutely. And, we understand that innovations are superpower, right? And how do we leverage actions related to innovation? Is through active communication, explaining your why, implementation, having clarity, and a blueprint that will lead you to be successful. It sounds like you're well on your way in Tolleson Union High School District, and excited to have you today. Thank you for what you do. And I know this job isn't easy, but you are leading on the cutting edge, and what you did for 6 years to help this school district get on a solid foot financially has allowed you to be innovative in this space, Jeremy. So hats off to you. Hats off for your creativity in that space, and also hats off for you transitioning to get your board to buy into what you're trying to accomplish as a leader. So, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoy this conference. Really cool. You've heard it from today. Jeremy's doing some really cool things in Tolleson Union High School District. You talk about being innovative. One thing we understand, what you do not transform will be transferred. And you know what? Nothing's going to be transferred on Jeremy's plate. He's ready to go. He's ready to be on the front side of this work, and I commend him for his effort. Until next time, we look forward to seeing you on Superintendents Unplugged, In Depth with Davis.